But if I'm the Steelers and I'm looking to end a playoff drought, I'm not feeling great about doing it with Russell Wilson. Now, why is that, you might ask? Look at the quarterbacks still in the playoffs. And this was sort of the thesis of my column today at post-gazette.com. Russ is an outlier. Youth is being served all around. Mike Tomlin was asked a question today about quarterbacks drafted high, and he kind of pushed back on it. I thought it was interesting. Sort of disagreed with the premise. His answer was something like, well, Lamar Jackson was drafted 32nd overall. Jalen Hurts was taken in the second round. I mean, I sort of get what Mike is saying, but at the same time, come on. You can't look at this field of quarterbacks and not see that there's sort of a type. The average draft position, this was before last night's game, so it includes Sam Darnold. He's now eliminated. The average draft position of those guys, basically pick number 12. Now, I mean, Russ was picked 75th. That was a long time ago. Fields 11th. Does that matter as much? Not totally. All right, let's move on to something else. Height, average height of quarterbacks in the playoffs. 6'3". Russ, 5'11", maybe generously. Fields, 6'3". Think we're getting warmer. Average age of quarterbacks in the playoffs, 27.9. Russ, 36. Fields, 25, as you know. Now, there's a couple outliers there. Matthew Stafford, 36, is not young. Jared Goff, 30, not. And I'm, of course, talking in football terms, not real life terms. But if the Steelers want to get to a place with their quarterback situation that is more in line with what the most successful teams in the NFL are doing, you go with Fields. You go with Fields unless you have a slam dunk better solution. And I don't think the Steelers have that right now. You could maybe draft a quarterback. Okay. I don't love this year's crop of quarterbacks, but if that's what you feel like you need to compete longer term, I mean, I could sort of understand that argument more than I could understand giving 2-3 years to a mediocre 36-year-old Russell Wilson. And nothing against Russ. I preface those comments by saying I like the guy personally. I don't think he's completely washed. I think there's something in there. Not enough, not the right kind of stuff. And why I would go with Fields, honestly, it tells me one way or the other what the Steelers have. If they stink, at least you'll know. If they stink, you find out, you get a top 10 pick, whatever, you're probably in a better position long term. And if you're good, well, we just solved the problem. That's why I don't understand sort of embracing this middle ground, this mediocrity, this mushy middle that the Steelers seem addicted to. Does not make a lot of sense. Now, if we go through some stuff that Mike Tomlin said today, I mean, he's not going to come right out and say, hey, look, we're done with Russell Wilson. You know, we're going to Justin Fields. Like, that's not the way this stuff works. He's not going to paint himself in a corner with leverage. He's not going to say anything to rock the boat. All of these coaches say a lot of things, basically with the point of saying nothing. But you can sort of pick up tone. You can pick up an odd thing here and there. And at least that's what I tried to do. Sitting in the room for this, reading through the transcript, highlighting, taking notes, whatever. So I want to go to one passage. It's a little bit into the Q&A portion of Tomlin. If for whatever reason Russell Wilson should move on, did Justin Fields show you enough that he could be your guy? And I'm paraphrasing a little bit. Tomlin says, certainly. Okay. What additional steps would Fields need to take then to perhaps be a 17-game starter for you? I think he took them, Tomlin said. The way he managed his professional circumstance was really impressive. And this is the editor's note. I would wholeheartedly agree. I could not be more impressed. I could not respect more, might be a better way of saying it, the way Justin Fields handled himself. 4-2, goes to the bench, was a consummate teammate. I mean, if he was my son, I would be so darn proud of him for handling things that way. You work, you learn, you make yourself better. You're a good teammate. It's exactly what Fields did. And I mean, just an aside, I want to see the kid rewarded. I want to see the kid rewarded for his work. Was he perfect? No, none of us are. But he worked his tail off all season to try to get better. And I think some team will probably reap the benefits of that. Maybe it's the Steelers, maybe it's not. But anyway, the end of this answer is what grabbed me about Tomlin's presser today. Quote, I thought the way he conducted himself makes that a legitimate thought or idea at this juncture. Makes that a legitimate thought. What is that? Well, that is the idea of Justin Fields being his 17-game starter. So Mike Tomlin right there is saying that is a legitimate thought or idea at this juncture, which it is. So let's operate under that assumption and keep going.